This is how we talk about race and ethnicity in this country. We do a lot of categorical denunciations. For a very long time, it was all about kind of black lives and whiteness and what whiteness does. No one should be shocked that this is how we're talking about Somalians in this context as well.
I've been saying it. I've been saying it for 10 damn years. Ain't I been saying it, Miguel?
Hey everyone, welcome back. Dronetek here. Stick around because the clip I have for you today is gonna have you grinning ear to ear with Christmas cheer. One thing I think we'd all love to see is the media face some accountability for the awful standards they've set over the last 8 years. In part, their broad demonization of white people during the so-called racial reckoning. It was obviously wrong, but now the left is pretending to be super outraged because of Donald Trump's rhetoric against Somalians. Now let me just say, I don't agree with the way Donald Trump has handled this because I hang on to this belief that you can't demonize a group of people based on the actions of a few. We don't like it when it's done to us, so why would we do it to other people?
It's different.
And that's exactly what this CNN guest, who just happens to be black, called out during a heated discussion on this topic. Real quick, before we get into the clip, I don't normally ask for donations, but it turns out just before Christmas, our house needs some major repairs that, as you can probably infer from this picture, are going to be very expensive. So if you'd like to support this channel, now is a great time. You can find all those links in the description or pinned comment. And don't forget, we also have t-shirts that make great gifts. All right, now on to the clip, and then I'll give you my thoughts.
It's not surprising because it is often the case that when something happens, Trump targets the entire community. But in this case, 59 individuals brought to justice or will be brought to justice over this alleged fraud. But now everybody from Somalia should be kicked out of the country?
Yeah. Look, the categorical denunciations are bad. It is also the case, and this isn't qualifying it in a way that abdicates Trump's responsibility for having said it, although he isn't the most sophisticated communicator. Charismatic, sophisticated, not so much. This is how we talk about race and ethnicity in this country. We do a lot of categorical denunciations. For a very long time, it was all about kind of black lives and whiteness and what whiteness does. No one should be shocked that this is how we're talking about Somalians in this context as well. And I think in general, if we were to move away from that kind of categorical nonsense, it'd be a little bit easier to take on board the condemnations of the president in this context, as opposed to having to just kind of do it when it's convenient for us. So that's the first thing I'd say. But again, I do think that responsibility for this sits with the president. He ought to be a hell of a lot more careful. It is completely inappropriate to condemn an entire community for the failings of a particular community, but the failings of particular people in the community, but the failings of those people are real. And the actual scandal here is genuinely egregious. And there are lots of political actors who ought to be condemned. And I do think that we do ourselves a disservice when we don't try to interpret this in a way that allows us to both condemn the categorical statements here that are, again, irresponsible and wrong, but also acknowledge there is actually a real controversy here. There's something that ought to be addressed.
I think
you keep your mouth shut. No one here cares what you think.
Yes, and I absolutely love that they have Anna Navarro, of all people, on the split screen there as he's laying this out, because she's the one that has a problem with panelist opinions if they happen to be white men.
Also, I want to respond to you saying that I was hyperbolic when I talked about a reign of terror.
Because that is hyperbolic.
No, it might be hyperbolic for you as a white man.
Oh, okay.
It's certainly not hyperbolic for me as a Latino. No, I'm not being racist.
That's completely different.
It is absolutely nuts that the people who are outraged on this panel about what Donald Trump said are the same people who brought us this.
This is a story about white America. This is a story about how whiteness still animates the core of this country, along with selfishness, Craig.
The University of Minnesota's Child Development Program is warning about a whiteness pandemic and offering advice on how to reverse it. No matter what you do, simply by existing, you are part of the problem. What's going on with schools?
The biggest threat to our country today, says the FBI's director, is white supremacy.
white people will be replaced as the majority of the people in the country. That's not racist to say that, it's just a fact. The question becomes, why are you so upset about that?
George Floyd's death is sparking a national reckoning.
The death of George Floyd, it sparks this global movement, this racial reckoning.
We here in America certainly had our own racial reckoning in the wake of George Floyd's death.
A growing number of American companies facing a racial reckoning.
As America confronts a racial reckoning.
A racial reckoning. It also comes at a time of racial reckoning for the country.
And thus, the problem with white people.
As Foster and I have pointed out for many years now, the left, Democrats, and the media set this standard during their so-called racial reckoning, when the media was trying to somehow blame all white people for anything bad that's ever happened to a black person. And to the point that there's actually some truth to what Donald Trump said about the Somalians. It's worth thinking about the hypothetical scenario of a bunch of Americans moving into a country, getting their country's flag changed to look more like their home country, taking over positions of power, then defrauding their taxpayers to the tune of billions, then infiltrating their police forces, which you use to openly obstruct their federal agents from enforcing immigration law.
arrinta kale ee ku soo xigta waxay tahay haddii qof aad u malaynaysid inuu aad hubin inuu yahay deport.
It's completely crazy, but that's what's happening, and these Somalian politicians aren't even hiding it. All right, folks, make sure to let me know what you all think in the comments, and if you made it this far, you might as well hit that like button and subscribe. I do post on a regular basis, so make sure to keep checking back for more. And like I said, if you'd like to donate and support this channel, you can find the links for that in the description or pinned comment. Thanks a lot.